threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Back in business, baby.
Man, it feels like it's been too long.
It's been too long. We had an episode. Our last episode was with the man himself, Donnie Doss. So it didn't really feel like a normal episode for us.
Yeah.
And plus, we did it early.
It's kind of a weird time. Yeah, it's been a long time.
So yeah, we're happy to be back.
That intro got me pumped up.
Back in the saddle, baby.
Yeah.
And today we're talking about something that pisses people off sometimes.
It does piss people off.
So welcome to
But
the
I actually
show.
like talking about it.
I do too. I love it.
Because we live in the modern day.
I'm a modern man.
Yeah.
You're a modern man.
So we talked about with Donnie, like all the old school stuff. Primitive
Old.
skills, which is like
so cool.
It's way cool.
So
it's way
cool.
cooler than this. It really is. But you've got to add this in. So we figured today we're going to talk about modern preppers.
Yeah.
How we can integrate technology into prepping. Why leaving it out is a bad idea.
It is, man.
And then also, the limitations of the tech and depending on some of the things that we have nowadays. But it's good stuff. Really? And I like talking about it, okay?
So do I.
I love technology.
What's this, the Napoleon
I
Dynamite?
love technology.
Yeah.
But not as much.
Yeah.
It's a good
stuff. I do have to tell you about BattleBox, though. It is the monthly subscription box full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of hand-picked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you'd normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, and that's the fun of it, Cameron. But here's a sampling of what users received this month. The Dark Energy Poseidon Pro.
Jeez.
This thing is cool.
Does it open a black hole?
It really does. No, it's just a great little battery backup charger,
Love
USB
that
charger.
stuff.
Oh, it's so good. It's a good thing. The Deadfish Co. Macria fixed blade knife, and I love me a Deadfish knife.
I love the design that they put into their stuff.
My favorite kitchen knives are all Deadfish knives. They're so
I know.
good.
I use them all the time, too.
All this badassness starts at just $34.99 per month. They've shipped over 1 million boxes and won Best Subscription Box of 2020. Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at battlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first BattleBox plus a free knife at battlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
These guys are the best.
These guys.
I
like
these
these
guys
guys.
are the best.
He's Russian.
Yep.
Yep.
I've listened to a lot of podcasts.
And a lot is in capital letters.
A lot.
A lot.
It is bold. And
Yes.
Yep. Of podcasts. And this is the only one that keeps me coming back for every episode.
That's nice.
The practical knowledge coupled with the humor and sarcasm make every episode highly enjoyable and informative. The accents are second to none, too. Keep it up, guys. When we just opened up with that, too, huh?
Yeah.
These guys are
These
the
guys.
best.
These
Mike
guys.
RJ72.
These guys. I like these guys. Yeah.
These guys pretty good, eh? I
Mike,
listen to a lot.
podcast always happening in my headphones. Always.
I have them going all the time.
Yes.
But I like casual prepper.
I love these podcasts. These guys are the best, though. The best. This is from Mike. Thank you so much. If you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, leave us a 5-star review. Make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
I saw this phrase in the news, and I had to click on it.
Click it.
Bomb cyclone.
Yes.
I don't remember the episode that we talked about
That was
bomb
forever
cyclones,
ago.
but
Delicious.
I keep trying to
Get 'em
order
at
them
Dairy Queen.
at Dairy Queen, and they don't ever give them to me. They look at me like I'm an idiot. What are you talking about, idiot? I want a bomb cyclone.
My mom died in a bomb cyclone. Get out of here.
Dip it in chocolate. I don't care about your mama. But anyways, a historically strong bomb cyclone killed at least 2 people and caused a mass power outage that could last for days after it slammed the Pacific Northwest and Canada's British Columbia with destructive winds. This is like currently happening as we speak right now.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, we do this the day before this pops out on the internet, but when this pops out there. But now a new threat from the storm is emerging Wednesday as its winds wind down. It's combining with an atmospheric river to unleash life-threatening flooding rainfall over parts of the West Coast that will continue for the rest of the week. More than 500,000 homes and businesses were without power this morning in Washington and up there in the Canadas. So anyways.
Man,
yeah.
You make it sound like I just see him like running around in the newsroom, just like,
I know.
just shuffling papers around. Bomb cyclone and atmospheric river.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, those are real.
Yeah, those are real.
They're not just
That's
fake
like
things.
the first big storm of this winter, right?
I believe
I don't
so.
think we've had much.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't follow the bomb
I don't watch the
cyclones.
Weather Channel. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, watch out for the bomb cyclone.
Yeah. So,
Get you.
speaking of the mad world, what's more disgusting than anything on the planet? Humans, right?
Oh, stumped you.
So, mysterious, did you see, I don't know if you saw this.
I don't know.
Mysterious black balls washed up on the Sydney beach were foul-smelling mini fatbergs.
What?
Did you hear about that?
No.
So, a mysterious, a mystery of the black balls that washed up on Sydney's most iconic beaches last month has been solved.
Okay.
It's more disgusting than you can ever imagine.
Oh, no.
Australian beachgoers were turned away when 7 beaches last month after lifeguards spotted thousands of black spheres, prompting closure and cleanup efforts. They're like, what are these?
Oh, no.
A team of scientists at the University of New South Wales
Scientists?
have revealed that the black balls, initially thought to be made of tar, were actually mini fatbergs made up of human feces, methamphetamines, human hair, fatty acids, and food waste.
Wait, what?
These things were like all like
Why?
forming
and how?
together in the ocean and rolling around and ended up on the beach.
So they just formed.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was just like, who makes these balls?
They sit any longer, turn into critters.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, roll around and pop at you.
But I'm
Toilet.
like, how, they smell disgusting, they look disgusting, and they're full of freaking meth and human feces, hair, and fatty acids. And they just like
Wow.
rolled together on the ocean surface and ended up on beaches.
Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine?
I don't understand how it happens,
I don't
but
know. So humans
Wow.
are disgusting, and
Yeah.
our Earth can't handle it anymore.
I don't know.
Mad world.
It is a mad world. Also, like we're in World War III, apparently. That's another thing that's happening right
Oh,
now.
really?
There's like those rockets that they're sending into Russia, and then Russia changed their nuclear policy. Like, we're going to nuke you all.
Oh my gosh.
So anyways-
I didn't see that.
Yeah, bomb cyclone.
Good job.
Black balls.
Good job, human race.
Nuclear weapons. Anyways, let's talk about the benefits of modern technology for preparedness.
I'm turning this episode off.
I'm not listening to this on my modern technology.
As he's sitting there, flint still.
Yeah.
Did they just say what I think they said?
Yeah, as they're using technology to listen to us. Anyways,
No, it's a printout.
it's they just print out they have someone transcribe the
I ain't
transcripts.
listening to that, but I'll read it.
Someone's over there typing it out. Anyways, before we get into this, I want to preface all of this with asterisks, okay? All of these tools pretty much are subject to power and internet. We're going to talk about that too. We know that they might not work in all situations. But for all other scenarios, these things are fantastic. And that's why we talk about them, okay? So don't come bombarding us with comments about, what about the EMP? Can't use that shooting EMP.
Yeah.
What you going to do?
Typical millennial prepper there.
Yeah, what you gonna do? Just get on your spaceship when a volcano erupts? Can't do that. You know what I mean? It's like, no.
Yeah, I know.
Understand.
Like, you can't integrate any of this.
Yeah.
Waste of time.
Just go play
You
your
gotta have your
PlayStation.
prepper stuff, and then you gotta have your tech.
That's
Can't
right.
put them together.
Can't have prepper tech. Prepper tech. But anyways, we wanted to preface all of this with that before we got moving. Okay. I want to talk
All right.
about
now. Whoever's still listening,
Yeah.
Here we go.
Now the 4 people, Grandma, Pappy, and Uncle Jim. Listen.
Yeah.
I want to start with communication because we talk all the time about how communication is so key when disasters hit.
Yeah.
And tech is obviously gigantic when it comes to this aspect of preparedness. Technology, right? And some of these tools that we're going to talk about are things that you use every single day. Some of them might be a little more outside the box, but they're all things within the technology that can help you stay connected, that can help you continue communication, to continue to gather information during good times and bad times.
Yeah.
All the times. They're good for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is the thing that you have with you. Probably you're looking at it right now, or you're listening to us on this right now, which is a smartphone.
Gotta be.
It's got to be,
Your
right?
car or
So
in some shape or form you're using it right
yeah, you're using it right now. So it's pretty much one of the top preparedness tools that you can get. And I don't want. I mean, it's better
Will it
than
start a fire?
Mhm.
It can.
It can.
It's got a battery in it, right?
Yeah, it can get you. It also can get you the information on how to start a fire. There's a lot of different things it can do. It's pretty much the best survival tool you can have.
What did you say?
I know.
What?
I know it's blasphemous.
But yeah,
Think about
I
it.
agree with that.
Think about it. You have it with you 24/7. That's the first thing. It's always there.
It's the thing you are least likely to forget, right?
Yes.
It seems like always the thing that you have in your pocket.
Exactly.
Forget everything else. Don't
yeah.
even have your clothes on.
you
Just
don't
have
even
it
have
in
a
the pocket in your.
Have it in my chocolate pocket.
I have it in the front pocket.
Yeah.
In my undies.
It's always connected to this vast array of real-time information, up to date, like by the second information. You can get it on this stupid little device that we're all so leery of using as preppers for some stupid reason.
Yeah.
Its capabilities are almost endless. It's a flashlight. It's got a camera. It's a storage device. It's hard. You could throw it at people if you had to.
It is.
I'll throw this to your face. You're going to be mad. It's going to hurt. So think about that. Within this, though, you can get different applications. We call them apps here in the modern world. There are things like FEMA, the CDC app, Red Cross, My Radar. All of these things can give you instant notifications about natural disasters, about severe weather, like bomb cyclones. I guarantee people up in the Northwest that had these were like, bomb cyclone on the way.
Yeah.
Get underground or whatever they got to do. I don't know what you got to do, but you're going to get, severe
Ignore.
weather. Yeah.
Hide.
I'm
Snooze.
trying to look at Facebook. Get out of here, bomb cyclone. I want some ice cream.
Is that one of those games when kids downloaded Bomb Cyclone?
Who's been playing bomb cyclone on my phone? I said, you keep
Your
those on-
coins are ready. Bomb Cyclone.
Exactly. Pretty much any other local chaos that might be coming your way, you're going to get that with these apps.
Yeah.
Early notification about these types of things, storms and disasters and other unfolding situations, honestly can be life or death.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the movie Twister? They went through all that to try and get you early warnings on tornadoes. All right, they about died.
Yeah.
A lot of people about died. So
And then
that,
when you download them, FEMA gets notification of where you are
Yeah.
in the United States to put you in a camp.
Yep, and they take your blood samples from that, semen samples.
That's why people
All of
get all freaked out about it.
I know.
I don't want the government to know any more about
The
me.
government. Potato
government.
salad. I always go to that Seinfeld. The
I know.
government. Potato salad. But it really can be like a life or death thing. Or it can be you're going to get through this situation much easier because you got the information as fast as possible. Your local emergency management office probably has an app that they use as well for local alerts. So make sure to get something like that on your phone as well. And look, don't sleep on social media. We talk about it all the time where it's kind of annoying and it's a stupid thing, but it actually can be super handy for getting minute by minute,
really-
up to the
it
minute
can.
information, right? When stuff happens. Like if you're on X or Twitter or Facebook, it's really great for real-time updates, stuff that it's happening right now and you're seeing it. I mean, anything that happens in town, as soon as it's on Facebook like that.
Crazy.
Right? It
I don't
doesn't
even
take
know
long.
how.
I don't either. It's
Yeah.
like, here it is, right there.
Somebody's just sitting there like, what news can I produce
Exactly.
onto Facebook this morning?
It's also, there's some stuff that's great for alternate communication between family members. And like maybe the texting isn't working for some reason, but you can use Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or stuff like that to continue conversations when that stuff goes down. Maybe it's, there's high traffic or something going on with that kind of stuff. Also, apps like Life 360. I think I brought this up in another recent episode, but a lot of people feel like this is a little intrusive, so you got to understand who you're using it with. But within your family, this location sharing thing is so nice to have. You know where everybody's at all the time, when they're leaving, when they're getting back. Yeah, I mean, it gets a little annoying if you're trying to sneak down to the gas station without your kids knowing. Can't tell you how many times my wife and I were like, well, let's just go grab some Wendy's before the kids know. And then my kid's like, are you at Wendy's? Gosh, dang it, that stupid app. Like, it sucks for that stuff, but it's great in an emergency.
Knowing where.
Everybody, we know everybody's at.
Yeah.
And we can see where they've been. I can see if they're going too fast in their cars. I can see all that kind of stuff. It's really, really nice. So that's another piece of communication that's going to be great. It's technology, Cameron.
So it tells you when she's like, when your kid's driving too fast in a zone that's, wow, that's crazy.
Yep, I get alerts. And
that's pretty cool.
Do you know how nice that is as a
And then you text her so she can text while she's driving?
No, well, it only happened once because she's actually a really safe driver.
That's
she was
good.
with a friend, and the friend was going too fast. And I'm like, well, guess what? You ain't riding with that friend no more because they were going way too fast.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
But again, it's great to understand what's happening, right? Technology
Let
is
her
fantastic.
live.
I know. Because when I think about the stuff that I did when I was a kid, I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
It was like, I don't know how I lived through it.
Cameron has black powder and a cigarette lighter. And he left the house this morning at 6 a.m.
Kobe's got a fire started in the back of a trunk going 140 miles an hour trying to pick up girls at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? Like stupid crap that we did. But anyways, this can help with those types of things. Cam's going to talk a lot more about this stuff later. But when we talk about a smart home, there's a lot of devices that can help you with communication in a smart home. Smart home devices like smart speakers, displays, and hubs, they can serve as an alternative communication tool during emergency situations. Many of these things can send messages, they can make calls, they can broadcast announcements inside your home, even if a lot of different traditional communication methods are down. So these are really great things to integrate into your preparedness plan, really. You know what I mean? Also, they can function as intercoms with inside the house, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
we use that a lot.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different capabilities of these smart home devices, even when it comes to communication. So that's something not to overlook. And we're going to talk a lot more about smart home devices later. Satellite phones, you know?
Yeah.
Those are something that they're very expensive. They haven't gotten cheaper, but you know, things like the Iridium 9555555, whatever it is, or the Inmarsat iSat phone. These things.
Inmarsat iSat.
Inmarsat.
No Putin knows where I live. That sounds very Russian.
I know exactly.
Inmarsat iSat.
But these things work anywhere, basically. So they're great backups.
Well, even like, I mean, Apple and everything's integrating that more. Like mine always comes up and tells me like, you want to test this out? Probably cost me $50 to send a text. But it is cool that it does that.
It's very cool.
Have you seen how it like will detect like a satellite?
I haven't seen it, no.
You can like move your phone around and it tells you where you got the best signal.
So
like,
do you have to have the newer phones for that?
I don't know which ones have it. I thought it was like 14 and up.
Okay, so I've got a 13.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I think that's when they started.
I'm poor.
It's just starting to happen. Like now I know where I'm at.
Now you know. Yeah. And then for closer range stuff, obviously two-way radios, walkie-talkies, my man.
Talkie-walkies.
These things are great for an alternate communication method. Cam and I have some two-way radios. We have a little system set up for when stuff goes down that we can reach each other on these two ways. That's a great little backup. I love the fact that we have that little backup in case something happens.
Something happens, I'm definitely going to go turn that on and see if you...
We're like, okay, what's going on there? What's going on here? Okay, let's go play PlayStation if we can later on or something like that. Then you got the FRS, the GMRS radios, CB radios, all of those things can help you keep in contact with your neighbors without needing a network of any kind, right?
Guess what? That's tech.
That is tech.
You non-techies.
Ham radio.
They're always like, you don't use any tech, but then they got a ham radio.
Exactly.
It's technology, bro.
Definitely technology.
Bruh.
It's it's something that's been around a long time, but ham radio, the new stuff is insane, right? Super complicated.
It's like handheld ham radios.
Yeah, but you have to, obviously this is a little bit tougher, but you can reach people far, far away, and so it's pretty cool. There's also messaging apps that work maybe if the internet is down or cell service is down, like mesh network type stuff. We've talked about mesh networks before. There are apps like Bridgeify or FireChat, and I'm sure there's more. I'm sure you've probably tried some others. Have you tried any other ones?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
It's not really caught on a lot for me. But
It hasn't. They've never
but
been
it's a system
great.
that works, kind of.
I tried to use one of these systems on a cruise, and I couldn't get it to work.
Yeah, I know.
Couldn't get it to work.
The thing I don't like about it is one, you have to have like a relay device. And then they usually need an app that needs a subscription. I'm like, I don't use this hardly ever. Like, I'm not going to pay for a subscription.
No.
Bad choice.
But anyways,
people. But it is an option.
Usually it utilizes like Bluetooth or something.
Yeah.
To
we
relay
wanted
those
to use
messages.
one to like in the winter in my dad's cabin to like, but you have to set up a couple of those little mesh nodes to get to the cabin. And it's like,
how do you keep those charged? Yeah, it's crazy. But anyways,
write a letter and staple it to a tree.
Exactly. But those are another way that you can utilize technology to continue to, keep that communication going. Anyways, modern tech gives us a lot of different ways to stay prepared. And it's not all that complicated or expensive, right? A lot of this stuff is already in our pockets. Like we're talking about that smartphone. We already have it. So utilize it to the fullest when it comes to
a communication device in my pocket.
Yeah, you do.
I do like you had that one first because I think that's like one of the biggest like advancements in technology that we use every single day.
You do,
which is awesome.
Yep.
Even we message and talk with more people than we really want to.
Exactly, for sure.
So, the other thing that I think has been like a huge advantage to us in the world that we live in is the availability of information and education.
Yeah, man.
You can basically learn anything you want. If you take the time to do it.
If you don't know something, it's your fault.
It really
is.
That's the problem with it, though.
I know,
You're just
is.
You feel guilty all the time. You're like, I should be learning something.
Yeah, exactly.
But we live in this world where it's all, we have access to tons and tons of different resources to learn more about prepping and about different tech to work in our lives. So I'm not a huge fan of social media. It has some funny videos for sure, but it really is useful in terms of using it as a prepper to like get more information on gear review, because there's a lot of videos on like different gear review. There's homestead tips, camping tips, hiking, vehicles, off-roading, overlanding, any like little niche that you want to get into, you can find it on social media.
You really can.
And there's a lot of very experienced people on there.
There is. And like a lot of people are
and
like...
some that think they're very experienced.
You go on TikTok, it's all just garbage. Like, it's garbage until you teach it what you want.
YouTube's garbage unless you use it in a way that's like super useful.
Once you start to
books can be garbage
they
if you look in trash, and then there's amazing stuff. So it's like anything you can dig into garbage anytime, but
absolutely
all of it has great information
for sure.
I cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're fine. That's just all I was gonna say, because like once it learns what you want to be seeing, then your algorithm is pretty awesome sometimes. Really, seriously is.
So, but so using social media in that way can be like super useful. And you can even save and download those videos. Yeah, so it's kind of nice.
Absolutely.
Reddit is a great area. Reddit, X, all those to like communicate with other experts in these different areas to learn.
I go back and forth on Reddit. Sometimes I love it. Sometimes I absolutely despise Reddit.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
There's certain things that it's too much and it's super annoying, and it goes on. You never get your answer.
Yeah.
And other things are really nice and concise, and there's a few comments that you're like, good, I got my answer right away.
Usually it's just like people that are such know-it-alls, and they drive me nuts.
Yeah. There are a lot of
oh my
on
god,
there.
and it's Reddit is the worst for it for some reason.
I think there is a big old So YouTube has a ton of garbage videos too.
Sure.
But it has a lot. I mean, I can't tell you, probably a couple of times a month, if not more, I use YouTube for like a do-it-yourself video or project or work on or fix something.
Absolutely.
I love it for that. And so everybody, you can watch 16,000 ads for a 1-minute video and get the information that you want.
Yeah.
There's other things like preparedness blogs and podcasts, as you're listening to right now.
That's right.
That can help with continuous learning on the drive, while you're working out, while you're running, while you're hiking.
That's why I think podcasts are the best, man.
Yeah, you have available information at all times. Yeah, podcasts really are the best of the best.
They really are, because you can listen to them. You can do other things
at different speeds, and you can do it.
Exactly.
In a box with a fox.
On a log
on the
with a dog.
Yeah. There's also a lot of online courses that you can find, sign up for and travel to those locations, or you can just like watch a webcast or webinars and things like that to continue learning at your own pace, which is really nice. And the other thing is, most important is keeping subscribed to us, right?
Oh, for sure.
We just continually release information after more and more for you to listen to. The thing is, too, is like a lot of people talk about, well, once this stuff all goes away, things will be better, I hate that. It's like, just because you don't use it doesn't mean that it's worthless.
No.
But the other thing is like, yes, it requires to be connected to the internet and access these things. But guess what? You can download all of it to a device. And as long, an EMP may or may not affect it. And we've talked to before about like taking an old tablet or an old phone and filling it full of like a digital, making it a digital library of ebooks and videos and things like that. And then throw that in a Faraday bag.
Exactly.
And chances are it's going to work.
For sure.
And as long as you can, power it back up. But you've got an access to all this stuff in one spot instead of a huge shelf, which looks nicer. But, But the thing is, like, all of this, even though it requires internet and power at the time, you can use it and store to use later. I was actually looking at a website that had building a survival tablet, and it had, like, using specific apps. Basically, it's like a ghost tablet, so it doesn't access the internet and stuff like that. So, because people get paranoid about, everybody's tracking you when you use a device.
Yeah.
But you can make these survival tablets and things like that that have all this information and tips, and they have like an inventory and everything like that. And then it's offline all the time and stored away, which is pretty sweet. So anyways, but yeah, all of this stuff is on the internet and can be accessed and can be used to your advantage in learning all these tips or storing them for later to read and research later.
Exactly.
So, good stuff.
I like that. One of the things that scares me is navigation and understanding where I need to go, whether it's like during it,
getting worse at it.
I am too. Natural disasters or stuff, because one of the greatest things we have now are GPS devices. These things are so awesome. Anytime I'm out of town, it's just like, I don't
know how people
stress.
ever did this.
Look, I was thinking about that the other day. I've been converting some old VHS tapes that I found in my house to digital to put them. One of them was my band and I did a show in Iowa, right? And so we were driving from Utah to Iowa. And within that video, it shows us like looking at
a map.
It was printed off from MapQuest. So we had like 3 or 4 of them trying to figure out where we were going. And I'm like, that stresses me out just thinking about that.
That's crazy.
Like, what if you miss the exit and you don't know where you're at? Like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But we don't have to.
I remember growing up, my mom's was like a bench seat in a Bronco, and she just had the map open the whole time.
Exactly.
Like, tell my dad where to go.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so easy to get places now.
Lorraine, which turn do I take next?
Yeah.
It's like it's his personal assistant.
Gosh. But anyways, we have these devices now built into our phones, by the way, these smartphones that can get you anywhere at any time pretty much, as long as you have data. And most places do have data, right? You can get things like, Google Maps, obviously, and Waze. These different things provide real-time updates on traffic and accidents and detours. Those kind of things can be gigantic in a disaster or emergency situation. Understanding which route is going to be fastest to get you to where you need to go, all of those types of things. So these GPS devices, whether they're handheld, like a Garmin type stuff that you can utilize, or just on your phone, they're so important.
Use it all the time.
Use it
every
all
time
the
I
time.
leave our town.
Exactly.
I usually have.
Yeah, I know people that use it in town, and I'm like, wait, this is a little crazy.
You don't know your town well enough yet.
You might need to figure that out. But these are great. I mean, obviously for day-to-day navigation, that's fantastic. But these types of things are great for planning like bug out routes.
Yeah.
They're great for mapping out evacuation routes and those types of things. And then this is plan A, this is plan B. You've got those mapped out. You can actually save those in your phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you can utilize that to practice those and to save those and to plan those escape routes for bugging out or evacuation. Those are fantastic. And then, like
dropping
we said,
pins, man, it's such a huge deal for like your kids. They know exactly where you're
exactly. And then Cam said, what if there is no internet? Obviously you can't use these GPS devices, but they do have offline maps and offline tools. There's a lot of different ones that you can utilize, but those are very easy to download. Either on a tablet, like you said, or on your actual phone. So you have those at all times because your phone's going to be with you, right?
Yep.
So
I still remember when I moved to Portland. Portland's a nightmare to navigate.
It is a mess.
But I had like one of the second generation iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was used, all beat up. I remember buying it like on eBay or something. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't have like live access to GPS and maps, but I would download them on there. And I still remember like scrolling through, and it was a lifesaver. And that was probably more what we would end up using, right? It's like
exactly.
You're off the grid and you still can use a downloaded map.
Yeah. So anyways, that GPS, those navigation devices that we have for tech are fantastic.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. So smart home tech. Yeah. I go through like really intense phases with this. I'm like, I'm gonna get this super smart.
Yeah,
and
I've
then I
started
kind of
this
lay off
as well. This is something I've started this year a little bit too.
Yeah,
so it really interests me.
But there is some amazing stuff that you can have, and a lot of people are like, well, you're basically allowing all of your personal and private life to be on the internet now or accessible.
Sure.
In a way, yeah, but you don't have to do it that way.
No, you don't.
But there's a ton of smart technology that's useful for preppers. Home security systems, for one, are massively important. Like, when your back door's open. You know what I'm saying?
Don't want to leave your back door open.
But you get notifications and stuff like that. Smart locks, surveillance cameras. And so let's talk about the smart cameras. The nice thing, you can remotely monitor your property when you're away. Potential threats, you get notifications if a human comes into the view. It can distinguish whether it's a person or a Sasquatch, which is pretty cool.
I like that.
And then you can kind of, either notify your neighbors and be like, hey, we just watch my house because I'm picking up some...
Well, you go tackle Sasquatches in my front
I'm
yard.
already over here.
That's me on camera, dummy.
Oh, okay. Get out of the hot tub.
Get out the hot tub. Put that package back on the porch. That's mine.
Put your package back in.
Put your package back in. I don't want that thing dangling in my hot tub.
I got 2K camera now, and I don't want to see that stuff.
And I still can't see it. Is it cold out there?
Yeah. You got a black thong. Wait, that ain't a thong.
Shrinkage.
Yeah. It was cold. And then thing is, you can put these smart cameras on a closed network or a local network only, so that if the internet goes out, you can still access this while you're at home. So you can monitor your property, the outside when you're inside, and you don't have to be on the internet.
Which is inside really cool. When you're outside.
Yeah, kind of real weird there.
Yeah.
Smart locks. They have all kinds of different ones that you can, unlock only with your phone and Bluetooth, or they have fingerprint scanners or code access, which is all really nice. I actually want more locks on my house. That's the one thing. I don't have a lot of smart locks.
I have none.
The one thing I do have is a smart garage door opener.
Oh, yeah.
So I can give the code to somebody, or I can just be like, look, I'll just open it right now. But cool stuff because, for your kids especially, it's like they're all home. Let me just lock everything up or lock them out so they can't go in.
Exactly, yeah.
Smart sensors. I started using these recently. I have one in my freezer because my kids tend to open it and leave it open, and then all my food goes bad before I know it.
Or the power unplug it.
Yeah. That was the main reason I got it, is because I plug my RV into it, and sometimes it'll kick the breaker. If just you jostle the freaking the power cord, and it'll spark and kick the breaker. And then I've had you go open the freezer and all the popsicles are melted.
Exactly.
Not a good
You
thing.
hate that. You don't like that.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm looking to get is a water leak sensor.
That's the other one I want. I don't have that one yet.
Because I have one window that tends to leak when it really rains really bad in
That's
my
exactly
basement.
what I have.
So I've been wanting to get one, but I'd want it to be part of the whole system that I have right now with my smart plugs and stuff. So I need to get a hub before I can make that work within that system. I think it gets a little complicated.
It does.
So you have
some
to
of them
really
need hubs. Some of them are solo. There's the one thing, like you were saying, that's the biggest headache, is having multiple apps for multiple devices. Like, you can get most of them in the same system, and that's what I would recommend.
But how awesome is that? That because it's something I worry about. Like when I'm at work and there's a bad storm, I'm like, oh, I hope that's not leaking.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I can get notified.
Yeah,
and
you can
so
be like,
awesome.
Here's a code. I open the garage door. Will you go down there and open the window and let it all in?
Exactly. Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. The other thing, smart thermostats. I put those in quite a while ago, which is really nice to control.
I don't have those yet.
It's nice because when you leave, it'll actually set it to like the eco, and so it has a range. Your air conditioner won't turn on until it's like 85 because you're not home, and then it won't turn on the heater until it's like 60. So it's pretty cool. But those are really nice for being more energy efficient. I mean, as a prepper, it doesn't mean that this smart thermostat's going to be life saving, but might as well put it in now, right? If you're setting up a system.
Yeah.
Smart lighting. I think this is probably the coolest thing, right?
It's fun, yeah.
One, it looks awesome. You can put smart lighting in so many different places: behind your TV, under your bed, in your bathroom when you go in. It's all automated.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it also helps kind of deter intruders because it can create the illusion that someone's home. Like
a
the
Home
lights are
Alone
scheduled.
situation.
They'll just turn on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I've got some in my living room and my bedroom that are both on timers. They come, and it's really cool because you can set it for like sunset and sunrise, and off of sunset and sunrise, so we will adjust depending on that. So it's so nice.
It's super cool. Yeah. Smart lighting's probably like one of my favorite things to mess with. And then you've got smart appliances. Obviously, for a prepper, it might not be the most important thing for you, but
we will talk about some of this later, though.
Okay.
It's kind of useful.
I'll leave that. Communications and alerts. So smart speakers. I use these quite often in our house to yell at our kids when it's dinner time or come upstairs. Or, the nice thing is when the doorbell rings, it's like it tells you someone's at the door, and then you can pull up your smart your doorbell camera.
It's all just security, man. It's
It
just
is.
another
That's the
layer.
thing. It's and like I was saying, most of this can be used offline. Like you can set it up as a local network to where if you lose the internet or power or your house is running on a generator, like this stuff can still work and still give you the security. Smart home hubs, like screens that you have in your kitchen or something like that, or in your bedroom that show you like what's going on around your house, and so you don't have your phone on you at all times, but you have it's accessible and the kids can see too. Like I think that's one of the best things, like I said, with the doorbell is the kids can look and see who it is, and if they even want to I don't know, it's just
It's
come
Kobe
on from
at
the
the
church
front door.
again. Just kidding.
Dad said not to answer if Kobe comes to the door again.
One thing I've been looking into is, I know it's Thanksgiving, and when I say Raspberry Pi, I'm not talking about a pie.
Yeah.
But Raspberry Pi is like a little computer that runs on like Linux or something like that, or its own system. But basically, you can use it as like the brain to your whole network, which is pretty crazy. I'm trying to set it up so my home assistant, which allows like tons of different brands to access this smart hub. So then essentially the Raspberry Pi's communicating with all of them, and you can put it up on I'm building like a little touch screen. So like in my kitchen, it'll have like thermostat, weather report, chores list, and all of your lights can be accessed and adjusted from that. So you can like hit all lights off and turn them all off, and then it has access to all your cameras. So essentially, you could use something like that to kind of pull it all together and have it in one spot, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
The other thing, emergency power and backup sources. You have more information on this, but there's a lot of smart devices that kind of, can kick on or protect your devices when power goes out and things like that, or keep things running for. They like BioLite just made this new massive one that goes like behind your fridge. Have you seen that?
I saw something about that.
So as soon as your power goes out, it kicks on and starts working to keep your refrigerator running. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is maintenance. It kind of helps update to tell you when devices or certain things need updated. Like that's the nice thing with like smart appliances is it tells you when something's failing or starting to go out. And the other thing is everybody gets freaked out about privacy. My parents do. Like we've tried to give them like smart speakers and stuff. And I don't need to be listening in. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But there are ways to protect this either through your router. You can set up a VPN so that everything's being rerouted through to a different IP address. So nothing's tied specifically to your location and your home. The other thing is you can just stick with devices that are local Wi-Fi only and then create a network like a guest network that's got more security than your regular internet browsing
that doesn't
network.
have internet
So it's all
access,
separate. So you can do all that stuff though. So I wouldn't overlook this stuff just because you're worried about privacy. There's definitely ways to keep it offline and use and keep your home and family safe.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing to me with this smart home stuff is security, and ease of security and communication. They're huge.
And power saving. That's probably my other thing.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. One of the other things I want to talk about is food and water management. When we think about food and water, we just think about, beans and water.
Barrel water
and beans. But there's other things that you can do that can help you with these situations. I'm going to go through these pretty quick because they're not the most useful, but they can be. There are some really cool new smart kitchen appliances. I have a couple. I've got one like my stove and my dishwasher and all those things, which is a really weird thing. But it actually is nice because if I leave the stove on, I can turn it off anywhere.
That's pretty cool.
I can turn it off anywhere, right? So that's another safety and security thing that's fantastic. But there are like these smart fridges, these new ones. I don't know if you've seen these.
I haven't seen the smart
They
fridge
blow
stuff much.
my mind, dude. They've got like the Samsung Family Hub refrigerator or the LG InstaView. These things are insane. They have a touch screen on the front of them. And they connect to an app. So basically, when I'm at the store, I can pull up my app and I can actually see what's inside.
Oh,
there's
wow.
a camera, so I can go through every shelf and see what I have left. Also, as it goes in, you can scan the items.
It's like, do we need ketchup?
Yeah,
And you can see it's like halfway.
You can see, but you can also scan the items. So now you have a list.
That's pretty awesome.
Of what's
so it's like
in there.
an inventory of your fridge.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Which is actually really great for, like first in, first out when you're trying to do, prepping food and water and stuff because you know what you have, you know what's been in there longer.
Time crunch is like, take care of this, eat this first.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So there are
didn't know they did that. That's pretty
there's
sweet.
some useful stuff. And like you don't even have to open up the fridge. You can just hit the button and it shows you a live view inside the fridge when you're in the kitchen, right? So you don't have to open it up.
Kids staring in there for hours on end.
So, I mean, obviously, maybe not the most practical, but can be useful for, food
The
and water
inventory thing's
management
huge.
in inventory.
That's really
exactly. And then we talk about, food saving stuff. So you can get vacuum sealers. Obviously, so great for preserving food. The other thing I would consider in this area is pantry organization apps. They're great for understanding what you have. It takes time. You have to go through and add all of those things in, and I don't have that kind of.
If you're
fortitude.
starting out,
it's great.
do not
do it. Yeah,
forget to do this.
do this. There's some
in some way.
There's a few apps. Smantry is one, Food Keeper, and Stock Up. But there's probably 20 different apps that you can use for this. Really great stuff to consider as far as tech goes with food and water management as a prepper. And then, water quality testing and purification. Obviously, there's some stuff here that's super useful. You can get water testers and pH testers and all that kind of stuff that are kind of high tech that can be helpful, here. Also, the purification systems within your home, like a Berkey water filter.
Yeah.
I mean, we call that tech. It's not super high tech.
But it is tech.
But it is tech, right? There's things like LifeStraw has a LifeStraw home now. There's other stuff that you can consider as far as purification goes within your home that doesn't make you look crazy. You know what I mean? Those are great. So the next thing I want to talk about when it comes to food and water is hydroponics and smart gardening. This is something Cam is kind of...
I've toyed with.
You've toyed with it a little bit.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated, but there's some ways that you can get into this sort of on the ground level and test it out without going like... When I think of hydroponics, I think of like somebody's entire basement filled with like water tubs.
Pond, and it has a river, like a little creek system.
I can't do that. There's just like no way. But there are some things you can do. There's some systems like the Aero Garden Bounty Elite, the Rise Gardens Personal Garden. They're small and they're scalable. So you can like continue.
Yeah, aren't these
bigger.
the ones that like automatically mist and keep everything like
exactly?
Yeah, see, that's sweet.
So they're kind of cool if you wanted to try it and get started, but then also be able to scale it if it's something that you liked and something that you wanted to incorporate into your prepping plan. You can absolutely do that, right? And there's like some vertical gardening, like the Tower Garden Flex is like a vertical gardening system that's just kind of cool.
Look at that.
Anyways, there are some things that you can do with tech when it comes to hydroponics and gardening inside the
You
house.
just have to have a lot of room.
You do. Well, some of them are small, like they're this big, and you can start out small.
I need
and
to
then,
do like my whole bathroom just full of plants.
You should. You absolutely should.
Just eating carrots while you're taking a crap.
Or in the tub.
That's
you
pretty
know,
good.
A little cilantro in the
And
tub.
then you flush and it washes it through the roots of your plants.
So anyways,
great idea.
That's food and water management.
That's cool. Yeah, that's one system that I start into, and then I'm like, it's expensive and time consuming and a lot of space.
Yeah.
One area that you can really use technology to your advantage is health and medical.
Yeah.
And we've talked on here about a bunch of different devices that really help with your medical care. So some of the main things that I would suggest looking at the technology now is like a blood pressure cuff and monitor. They're getting better. Like smart devices like watches stuff haven't got to the point of checking your blood pressure and monitoring
They
it.
say
but
they
kind of
do.
have alerts.
They say they do. Like there's some new watches that say they do. Or even some of the new rings say that they do.
The ring I've actually been interested in.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then a finger pulse ox. The watches and stuff, I know there's a little battle there with Apple and everything about your pulse ox and everything, but it's nice. Like possibly a smartwatch can like monitor most of these things for you. Digital thermometers and regular thermometers are good to have. I know just a regular thermometer sounds, super ancient, but it's good tech to have.
Sure. Yeah.
The other thing is a lot of medical devices like an otoscope and ways to clean your ears, stuff like that. It's all available that you can get. It's nice to have that stuff for kind of, self management of your own medical conditions. I talk about that all the time.
Look in my own ear.
Least amount of people I have to see, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
But first aid apps can show you step by step how to do suturing and how to when to apply certain types of bandages and kind of walk you through some like trauma scenarios and things like that, which is pretty awesome. AI is obviously getting better. I know you'll talk a little bit more on that, but like detecting or kind of putting your symptoms in, and it'll tell you like what you should do and what it might be.
It's going to be all our doctors
all
soon.
of this stuff. I know. Yeah. Health related. I mean, this is all health related,
yes,
but it's not medical advice. Okay,
right.
Just needed to mention that.
Yes.
Again, the thing that I think is one of the most important is it's downloading medical books and medical information for your own research and your own ability to go and look and see what to do. Like, I trust AI, and it's getting better and better and super smart, but to be able to reference the things that it's telling you is a great idea.
Yeah, check it always.
Suturing guides and things like that can all be downloaded and stored. Some other like little advancements in tech that you can use, like there's devices and things like that you can use. Like say you have an elderly person at home that you're monitoring. There's remote patient monitoring systems where you can leave them and basically watch their life support, which is awesome.
Nice.
And they crapped their pants again. Moisture sensor went off.
They need another tapioca.
Yeah. So, and then using telehealth services, which, as we saw in the pandemic, this became kind of a big thing.
Yeah.
The fact that you can stay home and communicate and get medications prescribed without having to go into a medical clinic and pick up whatever diseases are in the waiting room.
That's the best, man.
I know.
I don't know why we don't do like 90% of them
it's crazy.
That way.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Wearable health devices, like I was saying, whether it be your smartwatch, but they have other monitors. The technology for diabetes is just incredible now. Like they have Dexcom and Freestyle Libre, which are just the little buttons
on your arm
that you put on your arm or behind, and it monitors your blood glucose. And the thing is, like with kids, it connects their device to your phone, so you get alerts when their blood sugars are out of range and things like that. Pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Medication management apps, obviously, like if you're incapacitated and have to take certain meds and you have it stored in your phone, it's very helpful. But also to help you sort things out and see what interactions you're probably having and no one's told you about.
Yeah.
Mental health apps, like the watch has, the Apple Watch has just like your meditation apps and things like that. Like this stuff's super helpful, and it would be really helpful when things are chaotic and stressful. It's like something to guide you through some mental help, like some mental focus and peace and being able to calm yourself on your own is a huge skill to learn. And if you have something to guide you, an app or a watch or something like that, it's a big deal. Disease management apps, just like updates on things to do for whatever diseases you might have.
Who knows?
Probably the most important thing is like the health and fitness apps, because you can track and it kind of allows you to set goals. Like I pay attention to my rings all the time on my Apple Watch, like where my steps are and how many calories I burn and how many times I've gotten up and walked around. Like it's pretty cool because it just kind of guides you through like paying more attention to your fitness.
I've been really like the past like 3 to 4 months, I've been really paying attention to those things too. And I just use like my Fitness Pal, the free version.
It's nice to see it in numbers.
Really,
right?
like it gives you, and it's a pain in the butt because I actually use it to track all my food because I'm trying to get enough protein.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to get like so many steps. I'm trying to get so much fiber, and like you can do it all on your phone and stay healthy. It's so
But isn't it more motivating when you can like see your progress and see what
I'm such a little progress whore like that, and like and making sure like I'm like, I have to see everything there, right?
Yeah.
Like I like to see the progress.
I do too.
Like
Because you're
even-
like, I think I'm doing better. But
Yeah,
then when
exactly.
you see it and you got trends and you got
Oh,
graphs
yeah.
and stuff, it's really helpful.
oh yeah, for sure.
So, anyways, that probably the biggest thing I
Mm-hmm.
think in all the smart technology is using it for prevention, right?
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
for health and fitness and kind of monitoring your progress there. So there,
Okay, cool. I like that. Let's talk about energy. Because
energy.
power.
How do I get more
I
in
don't-
my body?
I don't know. Eat more good food.
Yeah.
But we're talking about stuff that can help you power devices, right? Whether it's like a power outage or even you're camping off grid somewhere, maybe there's a storm and you're hunkering down. These modern technology devices will help you keep your lights on. It will help you keep your devices charged and going, in which really when it comes down to it is almost essential now. It's not like a convenience thing. It's almost essential that you have to keep those things going. One of the really easy and good ways to do that is with solar powered chargers and generators. They're perfect for preppers. They really are. They're perfect for like little small devices, right? These solar generators for bigger devices are okay, but from lights and small appliances and stuff like that. But really, the solar ones are better for probably smaller stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
They have, stuff to charge bigger things, but you
They do.
basically have to leave it outside for a whole month.
Yeah, it's got to be out there for about a decade to run anything. So you gotta use those where it makes sense. But there's a lot of different brands that you can go with, and so many different it's almost endless these days.
I
the
love
options.
this stuff. This stuff's awesome.
I do
and
too.
it's more available now.
Oh,
like
it
you
is.
see it in Walmart, you see it at like
It's getting cheaper.
Harbor Freight and
Yeah.
stuff.
But there's, stuff like Goal Zero, Jackery, Anchor, BioLite, EcoFlow, Rock Pals, and probably 5,000 other Chinese brands that you could name.
There are.
Right? But those, any of them are going to
I've
be
used
great.
all of these, and I've never had a problem with any of them, really.
No, I mean, I've
is
got
great.
Rock Pals, I've got BioLite, I've got Goal
I think
Zero
Jackery's the
stuff.
only one I don't have.
I don't have
But a lot of
Jackery
people
either.
use it. I know
It's pretty
reliable.
It's a big one. So, anyways, these are great for smaller ones for your bug out bags, like in a lightweight type setup. You can also pair it with a solar generator or some other type of battery backup system for your house.
Yeah.
You can have one in your vehicle kit, great for EDC kits. I mean, I have a little battery bank in all of my EDC kits and my bug out bag in all of my vehicles. You just it's like you have to have them
they're easy
these days.
to pack with
Right.
you.
And like Cam mentioned, there's even like home energy management systems now that can basically, there's two different kinds. There's stuff that you can utilize now as a system to help you manage your energy if you're really worried about that. But there's also backups. And that's kind of like Cam was talking about, that new BioLite backup that goes kind of like behind your
It's
fridge.
like a smart system battery that you just install and leave it.
You just saw and leave it. There's stuff like Tesla power walls, which are pretty
those
cool.
are super awesome.
So those are examples of these types of things for your whole home, right? Where the power goes out, but you can continue to use those critical devices when they
We
do
just
go
had
out.
power go out, like a week ago?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And I realized that two of my big power banks were
dead.
discharged. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you kidding me?
I know. It's
Felt
crazy,
like an
man.
idiot.
So anyways, this is a giant thing that you need to consider as a prepper, and tech is pretty much the only way to make it happen.
Yeah.
So
I love where they're going with this stuff. Like
do too.
I keep an eye on all of it. So I'm like, if there's any deals, I would love for my house to just kick on with power. And
I know.
I always would drool over those like diesel,
Yep.
like ones at Home Depot. But now it's getting to a point to where
You can
it's all
probably
charged
do
up
it
and ready to
with
go.
solar.
Yeah. So weather and environmental monitoring. So you kind of mentioned this briefly, like with your smartphone and everything like that. These apps can be really helpful because they'll give you like instant weather information, whether you're looking or you're not looking, and it just gives you warnings of forecasts and things that are coming up. 'Cause I don't watch TV.
Yeah, I
So
don't
it's
either.
like,
Yeah.
if I don't have this stuff on there, I won't know bomb cyclone's coming this week.
Not a clue.
The other thing is, like these apps can be on like your TV, your hub, your smartphone. So it's like it can pop up while you're watching TV.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Personalized forecasts. I do use this a lot, like especially during this time of year. It's like I keep track of weather through all the little towns as I'm going to my parents.
Oh, I do
So
too,
it's
yeah.
like I have these weather updates from these locations.
My
'cause-
apps are like, it shows Vernal, Roosevelt, Duchesne, Fruitland, Heber.
Yeah, it's like our
Park
main
City.
route out,
Yeah,
right? It's
exactly.
like so it's nice to kind of personalize it to these locations. And then when you're traveling somewhere, it's very helpful to have notifications. Like I did recently when I went to Europe, sign up for what is it called? The
Smart
Traveler. Smart Traveler thing. And so it gave me information of like what's going on, what threats, like how high a risk is there for like all these things. But it also gives you updates on weather and stuff like that, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Interactive maps, a lot of systems you can just look and kind of watch the radar and see what's coming what way and things like that. And this can all be integrated into your smart home devices where speakers, all the time my wife's asking in the morning, like, what's the weather today? How cold is it going to get? And is it going to freeze? She didn't want to ask me.
You, or
she's asking the smart speaker.
She's asking the smart speaker.
Yeah. And then smart thermostats and things like that. All this is kind of integrated to adjust. Like you can be, if it's raining outside, like your sprinklers aren't going to turn on. And like, that's pretty cool that it'll do all that stuff for you. You don't have to do anything anymore.
Oh, dude, just hang out.
Smart device.
Just listen to the podcast. That's it.
And some of the other things I really like are like the air quality monitors. They can measure indoor and outdoor air quality, track pollutants like PM 2.5. I don't know what that is.
Oh, I hate that stuff.
VOCs and carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide.
Worst. Which is carbon, And then carbon monoxide detectors. We haven't really briefly mentioned those, but having those combined devices that are like smoke detector, CO2 or carbon monoxide detectors and people detectors.
Speed traps coming on the road. Yeah.
Water quality sensors, moisture sensors.
So moist.
But the thing that these can be used, like this technology, if you're gardening and things like that, is to track your soil, determine what things it needs and stuff like that. It's like integrating that into like your green thumb. It's a big deal, man.
For sure.
So
I agree.
Tons of good technology out there for
there really is
monitoring weather and in your environment.
So this one might get a little controversial because some people do not like to talk about ChatGPT or large language models. But I do think the more I use them, the more I'm convinced that they are a fantastic tool for preppers in a lot of different ways, right? And let's talk about some of those ways. And it doesn't have to be ChatGPT. Any of these large language models can be useful in these areas. Number one, ChatGPT can help you build custom emergency plans. And you got to understand how to use these LLMs and how to ask these questions. But you can ask for, a checklist of a specific scenario. Okay, build a 72-hour bug out bag for my family based on these scenarios. And it'll help you build those out, right? You say, this is where I live. What are the best 2 evacuation routes if this happens? These things, like, it'll blow your mind how good they are.
Upload your information to me.
You must die. Go to the long nap now. Yeah, no.
Kobe equals 0.
Would you like to play a game? Oh, you lost. They can also help you make an emergency plan. You can input all of your specific data and information, and this is where people they don't want to do this. But what's your location? How many people in your family? What are your specific needs?
Yeah.
What are the things that you need to be worried about? And it will help you build an emergency plan. Like, if you don't have access to somebody like Cam that's an expert, then why not use an LLM, right? That can help you get through this stuff. Also, it's fantastic for researching and learning. You can ask it any question. It's going to give you some really good information.
Yeah.
It's basically, in the new thing on ChatGPT, there's basically like a ChatGPT search now too. So it's like Google Plus.
Google search, uses it all the time. You get that little summary, which I found pretty useful.
Yeah, for sure. Meal planning and food storage. You ask it for meal plans. You can say, here's what I have. What kind of recipes can I make? What should I be stocking up on if these are the things that we eat all the time, and blah, blah, blah. It can help you there. Scenario training and problem solving. You can basically simulate scenarios and talk back and forth with the scenario itself. Here's what I would do. What would happen? I mean, really, you can get so intense with this kind of stuff. And it can actually be really fun and really educational for you. It can be used as a language translation and communication device if you need to. You're sitting there talking to somebody that only speaks Spanish, and then you can say,
that's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff's so cool.
It's crazy, man. If you want some DIY projects or repairs, it can walk you through them in different ways. So anyways, it's like ChatGPT or these LLMs are just like having a prepper expert on call 24/7 whenever you want it. Because basically it's taking all of that information on the internet and is bringing it to you.
Yeah.
So why not utilize it? It can't pack your bag for you. It can't, fix your car. Yeah, yet. But there are some things there that can be very useful for preppers.
Well, all the time, it's like during just everyday life, you're like, man, I wish I had a personal assistant, like follow me around and keeping track of this stuff. You do now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and now with the phone, you can just talk to it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to type
you don't want
anything
to ever
in.
talk to a human again.
Exactly.
You could carry a conversation with Chat.
And it saves stuff in its memory. Like, I'm such a huge believer in it that I utilize it so much that I just think it's worth a shot if it's something that you're interested in.
It's the way the future's going.
It is.
You can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it.
It'll kill you if you do.
It will, yeah. You'll be dead. But there are limitations on a lot of this stuff that we're talking about, right? And if you are over-reliant on it, if you're utilizing it in ways that can leave you vulnerable, you need to keep those things in mind. You need to have a plan, right? Because this technology is amazing until it isn't. Like these solar chargers, these smart appliances, these AI tools, they rely on things like power and connectivity and all these different components that could fail during these critical moments. So the power goes out, the grid is down. Most of this stuff is useless. The network goes out. These things actually have hardware attached to them. Those things can just fail at certain points, right? So you have to have manual backups for anything that you're relying on when it comes to this modern technology. So like if you're like us and you're over-reliant on GPS devices, make sure that you have physical maps as well that goes along with it. If you have an electric can opener, make sure you have a manual can opener as well. It's very simple. Just make sure that you have analog tools that sort of back up these modern technology that you're relying on when it comes to preparedness. And then there's things like the privacy and the security concerns. Cam's gone over those quite a bit. There's data breaches, there's surveillance risks. And if you just need to be smart about the way that, Cam said, use VPNs, limit the data that you share, secure all the devices with, multi-factor and all that kind of stuff. So there's ways to get around those things or at least mitigate those issues. Sometimes it can be costly, some of this stuff. So just do what you can. I mean, it's not going to be for everybody, right? This modern technology really can be game changers for preppers, but it's not foolproof. So you need to make sure that and we're going to talk about how to probably get this into a plan in a way that makes sense, a total prepping plan. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But right now, honestly, what I want to talk about is Element.
Do it.
Dude. Because if you didn't know, electrolyte deficiency or imbalances, they can cause headaches. They can cause cramps, fatigue, weakness. Put that into ChatGPT. It's going to tell you that you need some Element, probably. As people want to be prepared and ready for anything, the last thing you need is something that will slow you down when you need to be ready the most. And that's why we at Casual Preppers have teamed up with our friends at Element. It is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing that you don't. And we think Element is perfect for bug-out bags, EDC kits, all the kind of kits, because it contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Casual Preppers listeners get a free Element sample pack when you make any drink mix purchase through our exclusive Casual Preppers link. That is one packet of every flavor. And you can get that every single time you order as long as you use our link, which you can find in the show notes, which you can find in our link tree on social media. Head to drinkelement.com/casualpreppers to get your order and your free sample pack with any purchase.
Man, it's perfect.
Get it.
Even this time of year, we've been using the hot chocolate one. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
weird, man.
It's weird,
I've
huh?
gotten really used to it. I really
Oh,
like
good.
it.
Yeah.
Like it's weird at first, but then you're like, it tastes just like chocolate. Hot
Yeah.
chocolate. It's good.
Awesome.
And better for you
It is much better for you.
than
Yeah.
Swiss Miss
It's not
with marshmallows.
straight sugar. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been, there's a lot of new advancements in technology for prepping, and I just wanted to kind of go over a few of the innovative gadgets and tools that have kind of come out. So it's kind of like here's some cool tech that you should
Sure.
look at.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we already talked briefly about, quickly we went over like the solar powered chargers and generators. This is where I think it just keeps getting better and better. You're getting more power and the charge times are less. The efficiency of the batteries are getting better and better. Even like EV vehicles, if you're into that thing, like you can use it as like a charger. Like you can power your house off from those, which is pretty cool. It's like
way cool.
You have, transportation, and you could use it as a massive battery to power your house. The water filtration systems, like if you're still looking at Life Straw, nothing against Life Straw, but there's better. Like there's so many different options. There's with the Grail, and then there's Sawyer Minis. Like a lot of people just have seen a filter and then they stuck with it. Like look at all the different options. There's a lot of good ones out there from these companies. The other thing is like portable indoor cooking systems. Like there's a ton of like you always worry about that. It's like I have all this frozen food and things that need to be cooked. If you lose power, like my system isn't gas. I've wanted gas, but the gas lines also can be interrupted. So it's like, how do I cook indoors safely? Especially during like the middle of winter and stuff like that. So Jetboil, they have like the Mini Mo, and then there's all kinds of different portable propane, like really high efficient little cookers that you need to get. I think they're pretty awesome. BioLite stove. Yes, that's outdoor, but the other thing is you're kind of getting power regeneration at the same time. You got a battery pack on the side that charges off from the thermal heat, which is crazy. Barrow Cook. I've always liked these. They're really kind of like, they're just neat to show people because you can just throw a little pack into some water in the bottom and it boils. And then you're just using this chemical reaction to cook your food, and it's safe indoors and things like that. It's nice and easy to throw in a backpack.
No smoke.
Yeah. And then other things, they get freeze dryers. You can store a lot more food and use it for down the road. Atmospheric water generators. I can't believe they even make those.
That's so crazy.
Pull moisture out of the air and store it in water or in potable water, which is just crazy. You even have like other electronic devices like electronic tripwires and things like that for safety. The wearable tech, I already mentioned the smartwatches, but they have two like personal locator beacon. If you don't like someone that you care about, if you guys are worried about getting separated or something like that, or traveling, like you can get one of these little personal locator beacons that use satellite technology to identify where someone is. Cool stuff.
That's way cool.
And then drones. The ability to survey the area you live, whether you're just surveying like for your own protection or a place that you're going, you can kind of use a drone to scout the area out ahead of time safely. If it gets shot out of the air, no one's dead.
No, no one's dead.
So I do like the use of this kind of technology too as a prepper. It's like utilize it. You're going to have the ability to even transport goods between, I'm going to drop a DVD off at Kobe's house.
For sure.
That's what we're doing. We're going to exchange movies.
Send Clueless
when we're
this
in
way.
lockdown 2.0.
Exactly.
And then there's other like emerging robotic technology and automated stuff. Like if you go to YouTube, you can find some scary crap. Like people have built like automated shotguns and stuff like that, or like monitoring their homes, like a turret. Scary stuff. But
it really is.
Utilizing some of this technology for the means of prepping and surviving is, it's huge. Like, don't overlook it.
Don't. Yeah. And there's ways to integrate this into your whole preparedness plan that makes sense. And I kind of already talked about one of those is making sure that you're pairing up those things, like these digital assets, with very analog physical items that can be used, right? We talked about that, the GPS with the maps, electricity with a can opener, that kind of thing. But there's other ways too that you can utilize the tech, and one of those is storing digital files, digital documents, like those things like IDs and insurance policies and emergency contacts and all that stuff. You can store that digitally in case, what if your house burns down or whatever, you can still go online. Maybe you've saved it in the cloud. Maybe you have it on a hard drive that you have somewhere else. But having those offline solutions and those cloud storage solutions for those types of things is gigantic, man.
Yeah, this has saved me before. Like, I lost a credit card, and luckily I had like a digital form of it saved where I could cancel it before it was used.
For sure.
It's huge.
It definitely is. And then we talk about all of this tech, all this gear. You have to make sure that you're updating it and testing it regularly. These things have batteries. These things have firmware. And you have to make sure it's always charged and updated, or it's not going to help you if those things aren't happening. And you can test your backup power solutions and make sure they're all functional. Practice using your GPS devices and your solar chargers. You have to know how to use them. So take the time, simulate those things, and use them. So just a couple of things I wanted to talk about when it comes to integrating this stuff. And again, the golden prepper rule always stands. Have a backup to all of this stuff, right? Anyways.
Yeah. No, that's great. So one thing with like all this modern stuff is I think the opportunity is greater for you to adopt the mindset of continuous learning. Like one thing, the biggest thing is just don't be an ignorant a-hole.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Like on both sides of it. Yeah. It's like if you prefer the primitive stuff, that's awesome. Like your skill set is huge for other people, but don't overlook the fact that there are like this technology that can help you. One thing, like using that technology to kind of give you little reminders or send you articles and things like that to keep up on continuous learning as a prepper, that's a huge deal.
You're all using it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Every one of you are using it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, be humble and open to new information. Challenge assumptions. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you have all the answers and your current method is the best.
It's not, by the way.
No.
I guarantee it. It might be great, but it's not the best.
Exactly.
Never is.
So continuous learning in all these different ways with modern prepping and with primitive prepping and all that stuff is super important. The other thing is scenario-based learning. Like you can use technology now, like whether it be through there's even like VR games and systems and like that can kind of go through all these different scenarios that makes you like think about it. Like, what would I do in this scenario and how does it work out in this? I think media is great for that, like movies and stuff like this. It makes you think like, what if this happened? How would I handle this?
And that's what we're talking about with the large language models. Utilize those. Tell it to simulate a scenario for you and ask you what you would do.
And you find holes. You're like,
exactly.
Gosh, dang it, I didn't realize I didn't have this.
Exactly.
And problem solving, it kind of helps you to develop that skill of like, things are going to not go as planned. And what are you going to do when that happens? In real emergencies, like how is it going to play out? And you can, like you said, you can use that technology to kind of help you like sort through it and see what holes you have and what ways to fix.
I got holes. That's for sure.
Staying curious and keep exploring new topics.
Yeah.
Diverse learning. Emergency preparedness involves a wide array of skills and knowledge, so some areas to explore include using modern tech while you do it, and that's what we're talking about. In terms of like your survival skills, your medical skills, your self-sufficiency, community preparedness, like think about ways that you can make it more efficient by using modern day technology, because the primitive ways are great to know and use, but there's probably more efficient ways that are still going to be like useful during most emergencies.
The primitive ways are always going to be my backup.
Exactly.
And
you should have them. You should learn them.
Yeah, they're my backup. Right?
And then a feedback loop, self-reflection. Regularly ask yourself, what do I still not know? What do I need to work on? Exactly.
Everything.
This is where that anxiety kicks in. You're like, I have all this information, but I don't want to take the time to learn it. But you can. And you can use like technologies, probably the best way to use it to like pace yourself through things.
I love technology.
Like
but not as much as you see.
No, exactly. And family and group learning, obviously incorporate your family into it. And even the younger ones are, like our kids are even more tech savvy.
Sure.
And it's like, how can you use, like they're just not going to get into some of the primitive stuff as easily.
Probably not.
So it's like, use that for
as
a way to
in.
get to them and start working with them and then start introducing these other skills. Hands-on experience and live drills are super important. And stay, again, it's nice to isolate yourself and kind of ignore some of the global things, but you should keep up on this stuff. And
you guys now know there's a bomb cyclone.
Exactly.
Right?
For natural disasters, geopolitical tensions, climate change, it all affects you in some way.
Sure.
So keeping up on that, using technology to help you with that is important. And then be adaptive and resilient. Emergencies are unpredictable, and so adaptability is critical. So you really need to learn to use these things and also be able to survive without these things. And resilience, it's all super important. I'm just going through this quick because there's a lot of stuff.
No, I get it.
Don't need to talk about all of it. And then, networking. This is where it's important to like learn from other people.
Yeah, and that's where technology comes in too. I mean, I hope you guys are all utilizing technology to network with other casual preppers listeners, right? We have the Facebook group.
And that's been great.
Instagram.
Like, some of the things they've shared, like sometimes it's joking, but other times it's great information.
It is.
It's an awesome environment to be part of.
Exactly.
Mentorship, you can find someone like us that don't know anything.
Don't find someone like us. Find someone better.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
But no, that can help kind of motivate you and give you more hands-on experience and kind of help guide you to learn in the more intricate details of prepping that we're not going to give you through this podcast.
Probably not. No.
But yeah, that's a lot of stuff. And I think like some of the key things are like use technology to motivate your learning experience and like keep you going on this and realize there's a ton of tech out there that makes surviving so much better.
It does. And you know what? It's fun.
Yeah. It's way fun.
Like it's okay to have fun.
Yeah.
When you're doing this kind of stuff, it doesn't all have to come down to the absolute most practical way to do it.
No.
Sometimes it can be like, oh, this would be kind of fun. Let's try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's so much tech in so many fields. It's
Yeah.
like every aspect you can find something probably better than what you have right now.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, today's podcast is brought to you by Tac Pack, the only tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use our code Casual Preppers. You're going to get a free $70 machine-made part from Next Level Armament. Those guys do stuff, and I don't know how they do it. But if you guys love AR-15s, if you guys love guns and EDC stuff, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Go get it. Tac Pack. All right. We do have a couple reviews real quick. We've got the latest battle box. And this has some pretty cool Mission 117.
Speaking of introduction to like tech that can help you in prepping, battle box has been the one to like do that for me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We have the My Medic Super Skin Bandage 30 pack. This is the best Band-Aids on the market.
They really are.
They really are.
It's crazy
so
how good they are.
The Peak Refuel Mountain Berry Cobbler. The best berry cobbler on the market.
That does look really good.
It looks delicious. Whistles for Life from Rescue Me. A loud friggin' whistle.
Where's that?
That's some old tech, but still works good.
That's true.
Right? And then the Aquatab.
Whistle as you survive.
Yeah. Aquatabs, 49 milligram water purification tablets. I love these things because they're small, they're compact, and they're lightweight, and you can throw them anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good stuff. And then we have in the advanced box the Tribe 1.
Individual sleeves.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Tribe 1 Outdoors LP Series Pack Net. This is a little net for the back of your backpack to hold a bunch of cool stuff in. Pretty cool.
It's like a tailgate for your backpack.
Exactly. Then we go to the Pro box, and we're talking about tech, the Poseidon Pro by Dark Energy. These things are fantastic little USB charging devices. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I can't have enough of these. Seriously.
No, I've got
use them
one.
all the time when I'm like,
Yep.
even at home. It's like I don't want to plug it in, so I'll just slap
Just
one on the
throw
back
it
of
on
your
there.
phone and keep using it.
Exactly. And then Pro Plus Knife of the Month, we have the Deadfish Co. Macria. Really fantastic looking deadfish knife. Like, it is a beautiful knife. Like
I can't show you though.
No, you can't get it open. Don't have a knife to get it open. So that is the latest battle box. Make sure to use our code Casual Preppers. You're going to get a free knife with your first order, and it's beautiful. We also got some Stump Chunks, right? Stump Chunks sent us out a bag of their Stump Chunks. These things are for fire starting, but they smell delicious.
We went on about the name.
Yeah.
Stump Chunks.
Stump Chunks.
Got stump chunks in my pants.
Yeah, I got a stunk chump. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to try those out hopefully in future videos.
Yeah.
But thanks for Stump Chunks. And we also got some stuff from American Reserves. Oh my goodness. Did they send us some delicious.
Man, I can't even,
we got a little
two full
yeah.
Buckets of food, which is awesome. Well, 3
buckets of food. So we got their 30-day supply. We got their powdered eggs. And then they sent us a 72-hour bag. So be on the lookout for some videos about this stuff.
That's just nice.
On our
Ready to go.
socials.
You could just be
Yeah.
set with all the stuff.
But American Reserves are awesome. You can find the link in the show notes to them right now. I also wanted to mention Eberly Stock. They sent us out a couple of new bags, which we are going to be doing some videos on very soon. They have an upcoming Black Friday sale on their stuff, which is going to be bonkers. And these new bags are freaking delicious.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They are fantastic bags. So be on the lookout for the videos from Cam and I on those ones.
For sure.
We're pretty excited. Do you want to do a...
Oh.
Or no. Well, maybe we could skip it
let's
this
just
time.
skip it today.
We're going to get it. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are beautiful and wonderful, and we like you a lot. Also, we have another podcast, if you didn't know. This podcast is a secret. It's fantastic.
It's a secret? What is it?
That we can't tell you. It's a secret. But our latest episode is on Dyatlov Pass mystery. Ooh.
It's one of my all-time favorite
So
mysteries.
good.
It's after even doing all the research, you're still going to be like,
oh yeah,
what the heck happened?
What is happening here? So make sure to go check us out there.
And you get a lot of Russian accents out of it too.
There's lots of Russian accents there for sure. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you, and stay survived.